The Kamov K-52 Hokum-B is a formidable attack helicopter. Designed and produced by Kamov, it represents a leap in rotorcraft technology. It features a unique coaxial rotor system and advanced weapons suite. Despite its capabilities, it has a mixed reputation. The Ka-52 has roots in the Cold War, aiming to counter NATO threats. Based on the Ka-50 Black Shark, it retains the coaxial rotor system. The Ka-52 evolved with a side-by-side cockpit for enhanced mission flexibility. During the latter half of the Cold War, the Soviet Union fielded the Mi-24 Hind attack helicopter. The Hind was a capable platform and gained a fearsome reputation among NATO forces. However, its conventional design, featuring a single main rotor and a tail rotor, had limitations. The tail rotor, essential for counteracting the torque produced by the main rotor, consumed a significant amount of power. This configuration also made the Mi-24 vulnerable to tail rotor strikes, especially in low-altitude combat environments. The Soviet military recognized the need for a more agile and survivable attack helicopter, one that could operate effectively in confined areas and withstand enemy fire. The Hind also had limited agility compared to some of its NATO counterparts. The single main rotor design restricted its maneuverability, making it challenging to engage targets effectively in close-quarters combat. Military strategists understood that the next generation of attack helicopters would need to be more nimble and responsive to meet the demands of modern warfare. Kamov, with its experience in developing coaxial rotor helicopters, was well-positioned to address these challenges. The company's coaxial design eliminated the need for a tail rotor, freeing up power and reducing vulnerability. This unique configuration also allowed for exceptional maneuverability and agility, making it ideal for the demanding role of an attack helicopter. Coaxial rotors, a hallmark of Kamov helicopters, offer several distinct advantages over traditional single-main rotor designs. In a coaxial configuration, two main rotors are mounted on concentric shafts, rotating in opposite directions. This arrangement cancels out the torque that would otherwise require a tail rotor, making the helicopter inherently more stable and maneuverable. One of the most significant advantages of coaxial rotors is their efficiency. By eliminating the tail rotor, coaxial helicopters can direct more power to lift and propulsion. The Kamov K-52 Hokum, a design overview. The Kamov K-52 Hokum-B is a testament to Russian ingenuity in helicopter design. Its most striking feature is its coaxial rotor system, a Kamov trademark. This configuration, with two main rotors mounted on concentric shafts rotating in opposite directions, eliminates the need for a tail rotor, enhancing agility and survivability. The Ka-52 is powered by two Klimov VK2500 turboshaft engines, each capable of generating over 2,400 horsepower. These powerful engines provide ample power for the helicopter's coaxial rotor system and allow it to achieve a top speed of over 300 kilometers per hour. The Ka-52's cockpit is designed for a crew of two, a pilot and a weapons system officer. The crew sits in a side-by-side configuration, which enhances communication and situational awareness. The cockpit is also equipped with advanced avionics, including a helmet-mounted display system that provides the crew with critical flight and targeting information. One of the most notable aspects of the K-52's design is its heavy emphasis on crew protection. The cockpit is enclosed in a heavily armored capsule designed to withstand impacts from high-caliber rounds and shell fragments. The helicopter is also equipped with various countermeasures, including radar warning receivers, chaff and flare dispensers, and an active infrared jammer to enhance its survivability in hostile environments. Trial by fire. Early deployments of the K-52. The Kamov K-52 Hokum-B first saw combat in the rugged mountains of Chechnya during the Second Chechen War. This conflict served as a baptism of fire for the newly introduced attack helicopter, pitting it against a determined enemy in a challenging environment. The K-52's performance in Chechnya provided valuable lessons for Russian military planners, highlighting both its strengths and weaknesses. One of the key takeaways from the Ka-52's early deployments was the effectiveness of its coaxial rotor system in mountainous terrain. The helicopter's exceptional maneuverability and agility allowed it to operate effectively in the narrow valleys and steep slopes of the Caucasus Mountains. The K-52's advanced weapons suite, including its 30mm cannon, anti-tank missiles, and unguided rockets, proved to be highly effective against a variety of targets, from enemy personnel and vehicles to fortified positions. However, the Chechen conflict also exposed vulnerabilities in the Ka-52's design. One significant issue that emerged was the vulnerability of the helicopter's coaxial rotor system to small arms fire. While the rotors themselves were relatively resistant to damage, the complex linkages and hydraulics that controlled them proved to be susceptible to ground fire. This vulnerability led to several incidents where K-52s were forced to return to base for repairs after sustaining minor damage. Lessons learned from Chechnya to Syria. The combat experience gained in Chechnya prompted Russian engineers to implement a series of upgrades and modifications to the Ka-52. These improvements focused on enhancing the helicopter's survivability, reliability, and combat effectiveness. One of the key areas of focus was improving the protection of the coaxial rotor system. To address the vulnerability of the rotor linkages and hydraulics, engineers introduced reinforced armor plating and redesigned some components to be more resistant to damage. These modifications significantly reduced the likelihood of the rotors being disabled by small arms fire, improving the Ka-52's survivability in combat. The Ka-52's avionics and electronic warfare suite also underwent significant upgrades. Engineers improved the helicopter's radar warning receivers, making them more sensitive and capable of detecting a wider range of threats. The chaff and flare dispensers were also upgraded to increase their capacity and effectiveness in deflecting enemy missiles. These upgrades proved to be highly effective when the Ka-52 was deployed to Syria in 2015. Operating in a different but equally challenging environment, the Ka-52 demonstrated its capabilities in supporting Russian ground forces and conducting strikes against enemy targets. The Syrian conflict provided further validation of the Ka-52's capabilities as a modern attack helicopter. The Ka-52 in Ukraine, a controversial legacy. The 2022 invasion of Ukraine thrust the Kamov Ka-52 Hokum into the spotlight. However, the reality of the battlefield proved to be far more complex. While the Ka-52 demonstrated its capabilities, it also revealed limitations. The early days saw the Ka-52 in daring raids against Ukrainian targets. The conflict highlighted a critical flaw, its vulnerability to manpads. While achieving successes, it also suffered significant losses. The Ka-52's story underscores the evolving nature of warfare.